What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we are back on the wheel. I know I haven't been live in a minute. Today we're playing Farming Simulator 25. So yeah, we're gonna get into see what we can do with deliveries, or maybe just drive around today or something. So yeah, maybe we'll just drive around today and just haul two trailers on the back instead of doing deliveries. So yeah, actually, I just made up in my mind. We're actually gonna do some just driving, wide turns with the two trailers that I have on the back. Um, so we're just gonna drive a little bit today instead of doing deliveries. Um, right now, I am pointing forward at a place that sells paint, tools, electrical stuff, and houseware stuff. So yeah, we're gonna get right into that and just drive today, to be honest with you, making wide turns with the two trailers without even making deliveries. I hope everyone had a happy new year. We shot off some fireworks today, me and my family. Pretty fun, honestly. I love shooting off fireworks. It's always a good little fun thing to do on New Year's Eve, and on New Year's. Um, so yeah, I hope everyone had a good New Year's. I know I did. It was really fun. Um, yeah, man. I hope everyone had a good New Year. Like I said, um, today I mostly just been chilling, to be honest, and now I am here live. Um, it is, well, not might, it definitely is going to be a little bit of a shorter live today. Um, I know in the past I've done like 6 hour lives, but today we're just going to keep it short and simple. I'll only be on for a little bit today. Um, Um, so yeah, like I said, tonight is gonna be a little bit of a shorter live since it's already 4 in the morning. That's crazy. But yeah, we're just gonna do some driving with two trailers and just keep it. To be honest, just keep it a little chill live. Like I said, I won't be too long on here today. I'll probably be on here until maybe about 4:30, 4:35. Just driving a little bit with the two trailers because I know there's a lot of people that play Farming Simulator 22 that don't know how to drive with two trailers. Um, Two trailers is mostly my thing, honestly. I don't really like driving with one trailer because when two trailers, it's a little bit more challenging because when you have one trailer, to be honest with you, you're just making a wide turn. But with the two trailers, you have to pivot a little bit more earlier than what you would with a one trailer. So yeah, man, we're just gonna keep it chill, do a little bit of driving. But yeah, like I said, back to what I was saying about driving with two trailers. For when you drive with two trailers, you have to pivot. So like, if I'm about to make a right turn, my steering wheel is gonna go over to the left before I make the right turn, so that I have to make a wide turn, when I have to make that wide turn, my trailer doesn't hit something like that's next to you or like behind you with second trailer. Um, like so basically as an example, like say I'm at a stop sign right now. I'm gonna turn my turn signal on and I'm gonna stop at the stop sign. So I'm gonna start pivoting to the right and then turn left right away as soon as I'm done pivoting. So that the trailer, like I said, in the back doesn't hit something next to you, or that when you're just coming back to straight, the trailer doesn't hit anything that's behind you. Now I will be honest, it's a little bit more challenging to back up with two trailers. And when you're backing up with two trailers, I'm pretty sure most people will disconnect the second trailer, connect to it with their truck, back that in, and then take the connect the first trailer back up and back it back into the second trailer that you just parked with your truck, and then they'll reconnect it there because it's a little bit more harder backing in because your trailer, when you're backing in, if I remember it correctly, when you turn your wheel to the right, your trailer's going to the left. And when you're turning left, your trailer goes to the right. I'm not a truck driver or anything like that, but my uncle is, and he used to have 18-wheeler, and now he's driving axle, so dump trucks now. But like I said, it's a little bit harder to back in when you have two trailers. So for me personally, now like when I'm playing a game, like this game, Farming Simulator 25. To be honest with you, when I'm backing up, I will disconnect the second trailer and disconnect the first trailer. Then I'll back my truck into the second trailer, put that in this spot, and then uh, I'll re-back into the second trailer, and then I'll connect again there. Because to be honest with you, it's just easier doing that because, excuse me, it's a little bit hard to back in with two trailers because your second trailer going a different way. So it's a little hard, but like I just said, that's my suggestion. If you're playing this game, I would just back in, disconnect second trailer, and then back that into the spot, reconnect to your first trailer, back in front of that trailer that you just dropped in the parking spot, and reconnect it all, get loaded, and leave. Because if your first trailer is getting loaded, you're gonna have to back that into a spot. And they can only access your first trailer if you disconnect the second trailer. So I'm pretty sure you have to disconnect either way. Because if you're getting both of your trailers loaded, they can't possibly load your second trailer and then have to load your first one. So if you back in with your second trailer, let them load that. Connect the first trailer back to your truck, and then connect to your second trailer with the dolly. And then once you all reconnect and everything's loaded into your first trailer, to be honest with you, to be honest, I would just back in my second trailer to a spot. And then once you're done backing in your second trailer to a spot, I would leave that into a spot and then keep your first trailer connected, but disconnect your disconnect your second trailer, get your first trailer loaded, and then when you go for your second trailer to get loaded, I would disconnect from your first trailer, connect to your second trailer, get that loaded, and then connect it all together and then leave. Because, like I said, it's hard backing in with two trailers. I mean, to be honest, a lot of people have so much experience that they can do it, but it's already hard enough backing in with one trailer. Imagine backing in with two. Like, there's a lot of FedEx tractor trailers out here that carry two trailers, and a lot of USPS. The regular trucks, they're not even trailers; they're just regular trucks. But if you are working for UPS as a truck driver, a lot of those trucks will carry um a lot of those trucks will carry two trailers, because if you're ordering something like in China or something, it's getting shipped to you, and then either UPS or FedEx will deliver it. Like, I just recently got a package. It had to come from, I actually forget where it came from, but I know it had to get flown here. And then when it got flown here, FedEx dropped it off. So a lot of people with trailers, companies like UPS or like FedEx drivers, a lot of them will carry two trailers so that they can move packages faster than just having one trailer, because one trailer, it can hold a lot, but two trailers is just better because then you get more done in the day. Like regular FedEx trucks, they don't carry too much. They still carry stuff, but it's not like they're over here carrying it a lot in a little truck like that. So, but when you want to turn two trailers, you definitely got to pivot. Even with one trailer, you still have to pivot. Like, especially these trucks that private people own. Like, a lot of people will do stuff to their trucks, like lowering it, putting bags on it. I forget what it's called, but there's one guy on YouTube or TikTok. They have a truck and they own it. It's a Peterbilt, and they like where you connect the trailer, they extended it. So now they really have to make wide turns. Like I've seen him trying to make wide turns or make turns that are kind of impossible for him because of his extended back that he has on the truck. So I mean, it's possible, like I said, but it's a little, like I said, I would just go with the way that I said. But there's not a lot of truckers out there, but there's a lot of truckers and they're working hard there, and I respect them. But like I said, that's just the easier way, honestly. Like I said, there's a lot of people out there too that just know what they're doing and they can just do it. So, like I said, there are a lot of truckers out there that know what they're doing. But either way, with a turn, you have to pivot. Like, especially if you're riding two trailers. But even like I said, even with one trailer, you still have to pivot because, especially if you're making tight turns, at that point you might as well just start pivoting before you get to the turn. Like I'm about to make a left turn here, and I'm already pivoting. So, because I got two trailers, like I said. So, to be honest with you guys, that is the easier way, disconnecting and all that. But that at the same time, that takes a lot of work. So there, like I said, there's a lot of truckers out there that haul two trailers and they're doing because they've been doing it for a while. But for a rookie, like if you're a new truck driver and you want to haul two trailers and you're a rookie, to be honest with you, your boss is probably gonna be like, "You're not even ready. Like you haven't started driving truck yet, and this is your first time driving truck, and you want to haul two trailers already." So there's a lot of companies out there that won't even let you drive two or haul two trailers because if you're a rookie, why would you want to have to deal with hauling two trailers already? So, like I said, there's a lot of people out there that know what they're doing, but at the end of the day, you just got to be careful with that because hauling two trailers is definitely not easy because you have to keep both of them in the lines. You have to keep your truck in the lines. Like when you're driving on the road, everything has to be in the line because then it just looks like you don't know how to drive because like it's pretty easy to drive a car and even that has to stay in the lines. So whatever you're driving has to stay in the lines, even if you're driving with two trailers. Um, so if you're a rookie, I would obviously start off with a truck that you definitely know how to drive and that you're used to. I know there's a lot of rookies out there that are driving automatics. And to be honest with you, I don't really like the automatic trucks. Like obviously right now I'm driving an automatic truck, but like it's a 17 speed and I can still shift it even without a shifter because on my steering wheel that I'm using it's a Ferrari 128 or something like that. Um, Even that it has a engine start button that you can that you actually shift with instead of driving automatic. So I just use that to shift. To be honest, it's just a better way so that I don't have to be driving manual or automatic all the time. Because to be honest with you guys, if you're a real truck driver and you're out there driving and hauling for a while, like say you're going from like Pennsylvania. Hold up, guys. Anyways, um, I was talking about if you're a real driver out there. If you're a real driver out there and you're hauling two trailers, to be honest with you, I would definitely recommend a manual because that could help you in the long run and help you stay awake. So there's a lot of people out there that have been awake naturally because, excuse me, when you first start driving truck, it's a lot of stress because first you have to take classes. I'm pretty sure, yeah, you have to take classes to get your CDL. And after you get your CDL, I'm pretty sure that's when they'll start, doing driving tests and all that with trucks. And I'm pretty sure they have a test where you have to have a trailer on your truck, and then you have to go around cones without hitting the cones, or you have to back into a spot with the cones there, and you can hit the cones. And then if you hit the cone, they deduct points off. Bless me, excuse me. If you're, driving truck, like I would go with manual honestly because if you're doing long hauls, you're gonna want to stay awake obviously, and if you are driving, you have to shift because the truck is not going to shift itself if you're driving a manual. So I would just go with manual just to keep awake. Um, that's like the better way. Like obviously, you guys like a lot of people out there drive manual, but if you're going for automatics, I mean, like I said, that's up to you guys whether you go with manual or automatic. But there are a lot of people out there driving stick because it just helps them stay awake because they have to shift or the truck's not going to go faster. Um, but if I was a truck driver, I would honestly go with manual and just learn. At that point, you might as well just learn how to drive an 18 speed because I think 18 speed is the highest they're at right now. I don't think there's any trucks out there with like 20 speeds or like 22 speeds or anything like that. But yeah, I would definitely go with manual because it would. A lot of people say it helps them stay awake because when you're doing a big job like a trucker is, there's gonna be some times that you doze off because like driving a truck is no joke. Like there wouldn't be packages coming to us without these truckers out here. Like they're out here grinding. We're just at our house waiting for them to get it to us. So a lot of respect out there for these truck drivers, man. They're definitely grinding out there and working hard to get our packages to us and then get them, to the post office to get to us. So definitely a lot of respect out there for them truck drivers. They're definitely working hard out there. So I mean, to be honest with you, it takes a lot to be a truck driver because there's, you're away from family. Um, you know, especially if you have a sleeper, like a bed in the back of your truck. A lot of the time you'll be sleeping in your truck because if you're doing like long haul, a lot of the times there will be a bed in your truck to sleep, so that you don't have to go home because you're driving. So there is no going home if you get tired. There is no going back home. You see what I'm saying? Like if you're about to deliver somewhere, there is no going home if you're tired. So that's why a lot of people will choose the sleeper. So I also know there's a couple people out there that don't choose the sleeper because they're just gonna drive. But the thing is, in the state of Pennsylvania, they have, I think it's like a 10-hour thing now. You can't drive over 10 hours, or you drive 10 hours and then you have to pull over and wait till the next day or something like that, or wait to 10 hours and then get back on the road. Um, a lot of states are like that. They have trucker rules because they don't want they don't want the truckers out here being tired and then driving on the road and then an accident happens. Like stuff, people like that, like people just pull out in front of truckers, which is another thing you got to be careful with because, trucks have these 18 wheelers and all that. They have, I think they're called jack brakes or Jake brakes or something. Yeah, jack brakes, which will help their truck slow down faster, but it's not going to help you in time if you just pull out in front of them because they have to work. You know what I mean? Like they're like air brakes or something like that. Um, yeah, I think they're called air brakes. But like if you're speeding and like if a trucker's speeding and you just pull out in front of them, it's not the trucker's fault. I mean, unless they hit you on purpose or something like that. And I'm pretty sure the only way they can get in trouble is if they're doing like 20 miles over the speed limit, that's obviously on them. But if you pull out in front of them and they're still going over the speed limit, they can get a ticket too, I'm pretty sure, because they're doing over the speed limit and they're not supposed to be doing that. So um but yeah, I mean, that's just some tips that I honestly like because with the whole tractor trailer thing, if you're driving two trailers and you're a rookie and you want to go straight to two trailers, I would honestly stop and think about that, to be honest with you, because driving two trailers is obviously harder than driving with one. Um, like I said, driving truck out there is not easy. Like we obviously should thank the truck drivers out there that are delivering for us and getting it here. Um, because these truck drivers are out here working hard, staying up all night, trying to get our packages to USPS, which is a lot of people's place. Obviously, if they live in the United States, USPS. Like I said, a lot of truckers out there grinding, staying up late, working late, getting loaded. And the thing is, like, it takes a while to get in the rhythm of driving truck. Like, this is obviously a game. I don't have to get the rhythm of driving a truck in this because I can stop driving whenever I want. So, just some tips that I have for some truck drivers out there, or if you're becoming a truck driver or wanting to become a truck driver when you grow up. Just think about the things that you're gonna have to deal with. The one big one is definitely being away from family half the day, unless you're not doing long haul. But if I was becoming a truck driver, I would want to do long haul because depending on what company you work for, if you're doing long haul, you might make more money, honestly, which I'm pretty sure you do because you're driving long, you're staying up late, working hard out there, making the deliveries on time. So that's just some things to think about, especially if you're doing two trailers. That's something to think about. What I said, especially with the wide turns, like you really got to make wide turns. So yeah, that's just some things to think about. Making wide turns, obviously, it's like one of the big ones. I mean, to be honest with you guys, even when you're not, like even if you don't have a trailer on, you're driving this big truck still, so you still have to make wide turns. Even without a trailer, you still gotta make sure you don't hit anything with your big truck. Cause the company could come after you for damage in the truck. So, like I said, that's just some tips. If you're, planning on becoming a driver for, any company out there. Alright, guys, we're going to be getting off of here in 2 minutes. Just so that I can, get prepared. It's already like 5 a.m. Hold on, guys. Alright, right now, guys, we are hooked up to 3 trailers right now. Just picked up a third trailer. So now with the 3 trailers, you definitely got wide turns. With 3 trailers, obviously it's going to be harder with turning. Like, you have to you really have to pivot because that third trailer, that second trailer, and even that first trailer can still hit something. So we're going to go ahead and turn our turn signal on, pivot, and now turn. You definitely got to watch your third trailer and your mirror. Because you don't want to hit a car with your trailer. They can sue if you don't make a wide turn. So at the end of the day, all I'm saying is just make wide turns at this point because like I said, there's definitely truck drivers out there, and some of them don't make their turns wide enough, so that they're if they're turning by a curb, now they're overhitting a curb. So you definitely gotta watch that because just say I'm turning and I'm just naturally driving and I'm about to turn and I don't make the turn wide enough and there's a curb next to me. Now I'm up on the curb hitting signs and all that. So if you're like say you're turning onto the highway or something, there's just a curb there and there's signs up there, like over in Quakertown, like over by the McDonald's. If you're making a turn there, like say you're in the right lane and you're about to make a turn and you start pivoting and now you go for the turn and now you're all up on the curb because you didn't pivot early enough, and now you pivot too late. So like there's a curb next to me right now. If I turn like right now, I'm gonna hit the curb because I didn't pivot at all. So let's make the right turn right here. Let's slow down. Let's pivot, and now you can make that turn and straighten out your wheel for it. Especially them truck drivers, if they start turning, and if they turn, they gotta straighten out the wheel. Don't let your wheel take over. That's basically what I'm saying. So let's pivot right here and now turn. And let's bring our wheel back. So, if you're turning and like say there's a car, like say you're turning right, like say there's two right turning lanes. So if I'm turning right and I'm in the left right and we can both make that right turn, when you get into your lane, just start pivoting already because that car is going to be next to you. So you don't want to hit that car with your trailer, whether you're hauling two trailers or one trailer. So you definitely got to watch that because people will definitely come after you if you hit their car. They can definitely sue for damages, and then your trucking company is going to have to pay for that. They can even come after your insurance and say, you're the one that hit my car. Now you're going to have to pay for my damages. Because there's a lot of people out there that get into accidents and they ask you for your insurance right away. Because they don't have, if it's their fault, like if it's your fault, say I hit somebody, if it's my fault, they can come after me. And, they can go after my insurance company to pay for their damages. Or they can get the police involved. The police officer can say who's at fault. And then, now if they win that and the police officer said it's your fault, then you have no choice but to get your insurance company involved. Because someone's going to have to pay for that other person's damages. Because they're definitely, I can tell you now, they're not going to pay for that. Especially if it wasn't their fault. So. And the thing with back roads, like a lot of back roads are windy. So if you're going around, like if you're going right. So say you're going straight and then the road like bears off to the right and you're going around a tight right turn. At that point you might as well just start slowing down because when you're going around turns that are windy and curvy, you definitely got to start slowing down if you're in a truck because your trailer could make you flip because you're connected to the trailer. So the trailer is going to go wherever you're turning. So, if you're making a right wide turn, your trailer is going to come in behind you. So you definitely got to watch when you're making wide turns. I'm pivoting, I'm turning, letting the wheel slide. Like, this is different. It's a video game. So if I hit something, it's not like people are going to sue me. But in real life, you definitely got to watch this. You got to watch the turns. Like, I'm about to make a right turn here, and I'm already pivoting. So you definitely got to, when you're making wide turns out there with real trucks, you definitely got to be careful. So, just some tips to not hitting your trailer off of something or your truck or a car, because if you hit something with your truck and it's not your truck, like it's the company's truck or something, the company, I'm pretty sure, is going to want a statement of what happened because it's not your truck, it's the company's truck. So it's either you're going to pay for it if it was your fault or their insurance, the other person's insurance is going to pay for the truck damages if it was their fault. So, because obviously, I mean, even as a company, if you have a lot of money as a company, if it's not your fault, you're still not going to want to pay for the damages to your truck. If it's not your fault and the insurance can cover the truck, then you're good. But I know, if you have a car and you're paying, like, let's just say you're paying $35 a month for insurance. Most likely, so say you have a car, right? And you let your friend drive it. If they crash it, your insurance isn't going to cover it because someone else was driving. So the other person is going to have to pay either cash for it, or if they have insurance, their insurance has to cover it because that person that crashed your car is your friend. So if I hop in my friend's car and I drive it and I crash it, his insurance isn't going to cover it because he wasn't driving it. Pivot, turn left. So, it's simple things. If you let your friend borrow your car and they crash it, your insurance ain't going to cover it because you let someone else drive your car under your insurance. So, it's basically the same thing with a truck. If you let someone drive your truck, and it's not even your truck, it's the company's truck, and they crash it, one, the company's coming after you for letting them drive your truck, especially if they don't have a CDL. So, one, the company's coming after you, and two, your insurance ain't coming after you because, if the truck isn't, you don't have insurance for the truck, the most likely the company will have insurance for the truck, which is not always true because not everyone will get insurance for their work trucks, which you have to have insurance to drive anyways. So you have to have insurance either way. So if I have a car and I don't have insurance and I crash it, I'm cooked. I'm getting in trouble because that other person that I just hit, if I hit them, they're going to ask for insurance. And if you don't have insurance, they can sue you. So, all I'm saying is get insurance as soon as you get a car. If you're 16, get that car insured. Because there's a lot of teenagers out here, not all of them, but there's a lot of teenagers out here that, are turning 16. Wow, I can't wait to get my permit. Next thing you know, they crash and now they don't have insurance. So, now they can come after the parents because the parents are letting you drive without insurance and only letting you drive with their permit. So, there's a lot of things about, driving and all that. Just get insurance right away, to be honest with you. So I'm gonna pivot to the left, turn right. So when you first start driving, you might as well just, get ready to get that insurance before you even drive a car, to be honest. Just have insurance already because there's a lot of people out there, even if you're just starting to drive and you just turned 16. Just get insurance already because there's a lot of dumb people out there, that will drive that have DUIs, get DUI'd, and now you don't have insurance even though they hit you. So at that point, when you first start driving, just make sure you have insurance set up at that point because there's a lot of grown adults out here that literally drink and drive and think it's okay. So, and now you get hit by them and now you don't have insurance. So, if you hit them and you have insurance, then you're good because your insurance will most likely cover that if it was your fault. But there's some companies out there, if you say you hit the other person and it's your fault, some insurance company won't cover it because it was your fault. But, if you get into an accident and you have full coverage, then you're good. But if, say someone else hit you and it was their fault, then you get a hold of their insurance company and their insurance covers it. But if you hit someone else and that other person is going to get involved with your insurance company, and then your insurance is going to have to pay for it. So, just a couple tips, There's a lot of 16-year-olds out here with permits that have been driving for a little bit and still don't know how to drive. So, because in the state of Pennsylvania, I'm pretty sure you can start driving, start practicing and driving at 15, and then at 16 you go get your permit, then you have to drive with your permit for 2 years, and then go get your license at 18. So, we're going to make this last turn, and then we're going to hop off of this live. Let me make one more turn, actually. So, we're going to make this left turn. We're going to pivot to the right. We're going to stop and make the right turn. Say I'm getting into this I'm getting into this tight turn. there's a pull there, like a pull right here, and then there's a pull in the far side. So before I even get close, I'm gonna start pivoting to the left because I'm making a right turn. Pivot and then start turning, and then just let it out. Let the steering wheel slide out of your hands, but don't let go of the steering wheel. You got to keep your hands on the steering wheel because you don't want your trailers just going wherever they want. You got to keep your hands on the steering wheel. So I'll make one more turn here real quick, and then I'm hopping off. Um, so yeah, the thing about turning, especially if you have two trailers, like I said, you got to start pivoting. So there's a pull right on my left, and there's two pulls on my right. So act like you're gonna go hit that pull, and then curve, and now turn, and keep your hands on the steering wheel. Don't let go of the steering wheel. So actually, one more turn, and then I'm hopping off. So we're gonna pivot to the right, make that left turn, let the wheel slide a little bit, but keep your hands on the steering wheel, and pivot, do what you got to do. Now, there's some people out there that will just make one-handed turns with tractor trailers, but there's not a lot of people that do that. Just straighten out the wheel by yourself. Like, just straighten the wheel by yourself. We're making a left turn, so we're going to pivot to the right. Now make that left turn. So this is what it looks like. If you're pivoting with one hand, you're going to want to still pivot and then turn and still bring that wheel straight by yourself. Don't let the wheel take over your driving. That's the thing. Now with the test, when you take the test, you have to have two hands on the wheel. That's just their little rule that they have in the car. Because especially if you're new, they're not gonna want you driving with one hand. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna hop off out here. Hopefully tomorrow we have people join us, but I love going live. So even if there's people even if people are not in here, it's still a fun thing to do. I hope everyone had a nice, great. I hope everyone had a nice and great New Year. Today, January 1st. I'll probably be on live tomorrow. Like it's 4:42 in the morning right now, but like January 2nd, I'll probably be live like the next day. I hope everyone has a great night. Happy New Year to everybody. God bless.